Assalamualaikum and hi. My name is Nur Nazifa binti Muhammad, person number 1 that will talk about our topic today, which is epithelial tissue. Before we go more about our topic today, let's talk about animal tissue. First, what is tissue? A tissue is a group of connected cells that have a similar function within an organism. Okay, there are 4 basic types of animal tissue, which is first, epithelial tissue, muscle tissue, nervous tissue, and lastly, it is connective tissue. So here is the picture of these basic types of animal tissue. Okay, next. What is epithelial tissue? Epithelial tissue are thin tissue that cover all the exposed surface of the body. They are made up of layers of tightly packed cells that line the surface of the body for protection, secretion, and absorption. Example include skin, the lining of the mouth and nose, and the lining of the digestive system. Okay, there are 2 types of epithelial tissue, which is first, simple, where it is made up of 1 layer of cells. Okay, second, it is stratified, which is made up of number of layers of cells. That's all from me. We will go to the person number.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Najwa binti Muhammad Ramadan, and I will continue in type of epithelial tissue. Type of epithelial tissue have two classification. First one is number of layer. If the cell have 1 layers only, it call it as simple epithelial tissue. If the tissue have more than 1 layers, we call it as stratified epithelial tissue, like this. And the second classification is shape of the cell. We have 3 type shape of the cell. First is squamous, second is cuboidal, and the third one is columnar. The simple type of epithelial tissue have 4 types. First type is a simple squamous epithelium. A simple squamous epithelium is a single layer of flat cell in contact with the basal lamina of the epithelium. We can find this tissue at air sac of lungs and the lining of heart, blood vessel, and lymphatic vessels. The function of this tissue is to allow material to pass through by diffusion and filtration and secrete lubricating substance. The second one is simple cuboidal epithelium. Simple cuboidal epithelium is a type of epithelium that consists a single layer of cuboidal cell. We can find this tissue in ducts and secretory portion of small glands in the kidney tubules. The function of this tissue is to secrete and absorb. The third one is simple columnar epithelium. A simple columnar epithelium is a single layer of columnar cell attached to the basement membrane with oval-shaped nucleus located in the basal region. We can find the ciliate tissue of simple columnar epithelium in bronchi, uterine tubes, and uterus, while the non-ciliate simple columnar epithelium, or small, we can find it at digestive tract and bladder. The function of this tissue is to absorb, and it also secrete mucus and enzyme. The last one is pseudo-stratified columnar epithelium, and this is a special tissue of simple epithelium, and this is how it looks like. Pseudo-stratified columnar epithelia are tissues formed by a single layer of cell that gives the appearance of being made from multiple layers, especially when seen in cross-section. We can find this tissue, this ciliate tissue, at the line, the trachea, and much of the upper respiratory tract. And the function of this tissue is to secrete mucus, and the ciliate tissue move the mucus. The next one is stratified epithelial tissue. The stratified epithelial tissue also have 4 types. The first one is stratified squamous epithelium. A stratified squamous epithelium consists of squamous epithelial cells arranged in a layer upon a basal membrane. We can find this tissue lines the esophagus, mouth, and vagina. The function of this tissue is to protect against abrasion. The second one is stratified cuboidal epithelium. Stratified cuboidal epithelium is a type of epithelial tissue composed of multiple layers of cube-shaped cells. These cells is quite rare. We can find it at sweat glands, salivary glands, and the mammary glands. The function of this tissue is the protective tissue. And the third one is stratified columnar epithelium. Stratified columnar epithelium is a rare type of epithelial tissue composed of column-shaped cells arranged in multiple layers. We can find it in the male urethra and the ducts of some glands. The function is to secrete and protect. And the last one is transitional epithelial tissue. And this is how the tissues look like. This tissue consists of multiple layers of epithelial cells which can contract and expand in order to adapt to the degree of distension need. This tissue is also a special tissue because it can contract and expand. We can find it in lines in the bladder, urethra, and uterus. The function is to allow the urinary organs to expand and stretch. That's all for me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Nur Alisha binti Anas and I will share about the characteristic of epithelial tissue. First is epithelial tissue is slightly packed cell with extracellular space. Epithelial tissue also have an apical or free surface that is exposed to an internal body space of the external environment. Next, the characteristic of epithelial tissue is have a basal or the surface that is attached to a thin basement membrane which connected to connective tissue. We select the vessel which is called a vascular, so they get nutrient from their apical free surface or by diffusion across their basal surface from the underlying connective tissue. Epithelial tissue is also innervated, which means that they have a rich supply of nerve and epithelial cells can reproduce themselves, which is important because they got through severe wear and tear such as in the skin and the respiratory and digestive tracts.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. My name is Nuraina Natasha binti Muhammad Firdaus and I am the last presenter. In this video, I will continue with function and importance of epithelial tissue. Without further ado, let's get started. So first, let's take a look on main function of epithelial tissue. There are many functions of epithelial tissue, but this is 4 examples of main function of epithelial tissue. Let's take a look one by one. Okay, first, protection. To protect the tissues that lie beneath from radiation, desiccation, toxin, invasion by pathogens, and physical trauma. For example, stratified epithelial tissue provides best protection. Second is secretion. To secrete hormones into the circulatory system as well as the secretion of sweat, mucus, enzyme, and other products that are delivered by ducts. For example, the secretion by exocrine glands. Third is absorption. To absorb water and digested food in the lining of digestive canal by surface epithelial with apical microvilli, which significantly increase the absorptive surface area. For example, columnar epithelium in the small intestine. And last is sensory reception, to provide sensation that as transducer converting signals from the outside world into an electrical form that can be interpreted by the nervous system. So, let's move on to importance of epithelial tissue. Importance and function of epithelial tissue might be similar. So, this is 2 importance of epithelial tissue. First is act as barrier to protect all body surface and internal organs from external surrounding. And second is many epithelial tissues are capable of regeneration resulting rapidly replacing damaged and dead cell. I think that's all from me. Thank you.